Hello, my dear children. In the earlier classes, we learned that there are many factors contribute for infertility in couple. They don't bless with the children, but they need to have children. Of course, it's a desire for every married couple to have children. If they fail to bless with children, what do they do? What do they do? They go to doctors. Then doctors will assist them in establishing pregnancy. So whatever the methods doctors adapt to establish pregnancy, all those comes under assisted reproductive technologies. You might have heard about the word test tube babies, in vitro fertilization, IVF technology. All these come under assisted reproductive technology, ART. Right. Now, if you take the exact definition of ART, here it is clearly given: treatments or procedures that include handling of male gamete sperms or female gametes or embryos for the purpose of establishing pregnancy. All those treatments or procedures come under ART, assisted reproductive technologies. Fine. ART is employed for the people who are having the problem of infertility. What is infertility? We learn it is the inability to conceive even after 1 year of unprotected sex, unprotected sexual intercourse. That is infertility. Generally, the chances of getting pregnancy during unprotected sexual intercourse would be 20% per month, and if it is accumulated, it would be around, say, 93% per year. So there is a 93% chance of getting pregnancy within 1 year of unprotected sexual intercourse. But if they don't get, definitely it comes under infertility. Now, what is the solution for it? We have ART, assisted reproductive methods. Okay, this is the solution. Now, what are the different options available today under this ART? Let us see. It is very interesting to know the advancement in the field of medicine. We have to appreciate, this is the one of the method, artificial insemination, simply abbreviated as AI. Okay. Now, it is of different types. It is very clear. Artificial insemination. Generally, insemination is a procedure in which the penis ejaculates semen in the genital tract of female. That is in the vagina of the female. It is called insemination. But the chances of reaching the sperms to ovum might be very, very rare. It may lead to lack of pregnancy. That's why the insemination procedure will be done artificially by using a suitable instrument. If insemination is done in the vaginal region, it is called intravaginal insemination. If the same insemination is done in the cervical region, that is intracervical, then if it is inside the uterus, directly sending semen into the uterus, that is the intrauterine insemination. And if the insemination is done in the fallopian tube, it is called intratubal insemination. Okay. Now, who has to go for this type of insemination? See, if the male is unable to inseminate, for such cases, semen is collected from the male and inseminated into the reproductive organs of his wife. Okay, this is artificial insemination. And here IUI. What is IUI? Intrauterine insemination. Here the seminal fluid collected and collected from male husband and treated with some chemicals, washed with some chemicals and injected into the uterus, and simultaneously the woman will be given some injections which can stimulate the ovary to produce more number of eggs. so that the chances of fertilization would be more. Okay, this is in summation. You see here, the ovaries are stimulated to produce more ovum. Then, by using a suitable device, the semen is directly injected into the uterus. That's why it is called intrauterine insemination. Obviously, the chances of fertilization would be more. Then, coming to IVF. In vitro fertilization. In vitro means in the laboratory, inside the laboratory, not in the female reproductive organs like uterus. Here, can you identify this? Yeah, very nice. This is a Louis Brown, the first test tube baby, developed in 1978. So it took 100 years of research to get the first test tube baby. Even though we call it her as first test tube baby, do you think that she is born from a test tube? No. She is born from her mother's womb only. But the fertilization that occur outside the mother's womb. Okay. Male gamete and female gametes of their parents are made to fertilize in the laboratory condition, and the embryo form, okay, is inserted back into the uterus of her mother. Then it was developed completely and the girl was born. She is Louis Brown, early stage. So this is a wonderful step, a breakthrough invention in the field of this IVF, in vitro fertilization. Now today, most of the hospitals are implementing this procedure. They are taking up this procedure, in vitro fertilization. Right? Actually, what will be done? It is done for the couple, especially for the woman who have blocked fallopian tube, so that ovum cannot be transported or sperm cannot make entry into the ampullary isthmic junction of fallopian tube, so that no fertilization. And ovulation problem, sometimes the woman cannot ovulate because of hormonal imbalance, and her husband problem might be there, problem with the seminal fluids, problem with the transport of sperm and its mobility, number of sperms, agiospermia, oligospermia might be there. And sometimes unexplained reasons, infertility reasons, 10% reasons are there. In such a case, and one more important thing, sometimes there are seminal antibodies which may kill the sperm cells. They cannot reach the ovum. In such a case, the best method is IVF, in vitro fertilization. How it will be done? First ovary is stimulated. The ovary of the female is stimulated by giving some hormonal injections, especially FSH, so that more follicles will be stimulated, more ova will be produced. And simultaneously they give HCG hormone also, so that the ovum is matured, and those matured eggs are retreated, collected, okay, after 34 to 37 hours of giving HCG injection. Then what do you do with those ova? Now semen is collected from her husband simultaneously. Right, now we have semen in which there are sperm cells, male gametes. We have female gamete ovum with us. Okay, we have collected from both the parents, and they are made to, see, this is the ovary. We have collected ovum in a petri dish. We call it as test tube, might be. We can take a big test tube also. And here, the sperm cells are collected. They are treated with some chemicals. They are washed. Okay. Healthy sperms are taken. And in this petri dish, we have ova, many number of ova and sperm cells. When obviously both gametes are there, they may join to form a zygote. Once zygote is formed, that means fertilization takes place in the test tube. That's why if the baby is formed from this type of zygote, that is test tube baby. Understood? Not the baby is born from test tube. Zygote is formed in the test tube or petri dish. Okay. Your Lucy Brown is also test tube baby. Right. Now this zygote starts dividing 2 cell, 4 cell, 8 cell, 16 cell and goes on like that. Now suppose if you allow the zygote to be there like that, it will perish because it cannot provide all the conditions for the development of the complete baby. Had it been possible by this time, many people would have been produced by this method. Again, this zygote or developing embryo must be implanted in the uterus of the mother. Okay. So here, if the uterine conditions of the mother are proper, no problem. Same mother, we can take, same uterus we can take for implantation. Further development takes place inside the mother's womb only. But sometimes, in case of certain women, there are issues related to uterus. Uterus is not suitable for development of the embryo. In such a case, they will go for surrogacy. You might have heard about this surrogacy. It is a popular term nowadays. Hiring one's uterus. If this is the mother's uterus, if it is not suitable, the embryo will be just implanted in another mother's womb. For that, she will be given some amount, some legal procedures are there. Following that, they will go for that. Then, that mother who has taken this embryo is called surrogate mother, and the process is called surrogacy. After complete development of the baby, she delivers the baby and give back the baby to the original mother. This is what we say surrogacy. Okay. Sometimes even this mother, uterus might be very nice, comfortable. It can accommodate the embryo for its complete development and delivery, but her ovaries may not be able to produce gametes. Totally might be failed. In such a case, they can take donation from others ovary, and her husband's sperm cells can be used to fertilize zygote, and this mother can take this embryo and give birth to the baby. The only difference is ovum is not hers, it is of some donors. Same time, sometimes her husband may not produce sperm cells, might be absent. In such a case, ovum will be taken from this mother and a donor sperm cell. All the details will be kept secret. Nobody will reveal whose sperm cells are whose ova are, to which parent they belong, nobody will reveal. It's pakka secrecy they maintain. So the sperm cells will be collected, donor sperm cells and mother's ovum, they are made to fertilize, and again the procedure will start. That is come under donor gametes, either from male or female, that can be done. Fine. Nowadays, in certain banks are also available. If you take California, there is a bank called Repository of Germinal Choice, wherein you can have the sperm cells of different donors, okay, with good qualities, and a couple are having freedom to go and select suitable sperm cell from that bank and get their female partner's ovum fertilized by this IVF method. That's also happening. Right. Now, this is what the IVF. But one thing you have to we have to remember one point. See, 2 cell, 4 cell, 8 cell. If it is 8 cell stage, less than 8 cell stage, the embryo should be implanted in the fallopian tube. Remember, if the number of blastomeres, here all these cells are blastomeres, now 2 blastomeres, 4 blastomeres, 8 blastomeres, 16. If it is more than 8 blastomere stage, it should be inserted in the uterus. Okay, less than 8 or 8 in the fallopian tube, more than 8 blastomeres in the uterus. That's all. This is the important point you have to remember. Now, so how the embryo is inserted? By using a laparoscopic gun. Okay, through vagina it is introduced and finally reaches the point where it is to be inserted. Then, right, this is 32 cell stage blastocyst. Okay. Now, another method. We learned so far artificial insemination, then IVF. Another method is ICSI. ICSI stands for intracytoplasmic sperm injection. Here you see, this is the ovum. This is the cytoplasm of the ovum, female gamete. This is a micro needle with the help of which sperm is directly injected into the cytoplasm of the ovum. So 100% fertility chances. See, they are not allowed to fertilize. We are forcibly fertilizing, taking a single, sperm cell, one single sperm cell, directly injecting into its cytoplasm of the ovum. That's why it is called intracytoplasmic sperm injection. So this is here the sperm is taken from husband, or if the husband fails to produce sperm, then donor sperm will be taken. Then after that, zygote is formed, embryo is formed, and embryo is made to develop in vitro, and either 8 cell stage or 16 cell stage, it will be inserted accordingly into the female reproductive organs, either the fallopian tube or uterus. Right, now this method is generally used in case of where there is a severe problem of seminal fluid, or number of sperm cells are very less in the male partner. In such a case, to enhance the chances of fertility, this method is used. Even both the female also is not sufficiently producing the ova. In such a case also we go for this method, ICS. Okay, right. Sometimes the male produces sperm cells, but sperm cells from testis cannot be transported out because there might be problem with the oviduct, vas difference. If the vas difference is blocked or absence of vas difference, in some cases it will be there congenital problems, genetical problem. From the birth itself, there may not be vas difference. In such a case, testis is producing sperm cells, but it's not coming out. Then what to do? You think of? Obviously, yes. You have to collect sperm cell from the testis, because these sperm cells cannot come out because of lack of vas difference. Now, this procedure is called percutaneous epididymal sperm aspiration. PESA, not your PISA. Okay, PESA. Percutaneous epididymal sperm aspiration. So it is done in case of individuals where there is no vas difference. Okay, some obstruction in the tubes. Okay, those cases who had vasectomy, in vasectomy, vas difference is cut, so there is no chance of transport of sperm cells. But testis keep on producing the sperm cells. If that couple wants to have pregnancy, this method will be used. Directly, sperm cells can be taken from husband's testis, right? And in IVF technology will follow. Or that is directly injected into cytoplasm of ovum, or injected into the uterus or into the fallopian tube. It depends upon the circumstances prevailing at that time. Right? Right, here again is one more picture collecting sperm cells from testis. Sometimes some amount of tissue from testis will be taken, especially which contains some seminiferous tubules and more number of sperm cells. Why? See, suppose if you collect sperm cells by aspiration, making some hole, some damage will occur, little damage to the testis. Okay, you have carried out the experiment. Okay, the experiment failed. Once again, you have to go for experiment. Repeatedly piercing the testis with a sharp instrument is not advisable. So in such a case, what they do? They collect some tissue from a small piece of the testis. Okay, that will be taken, and some amount of sperm cells will be taken, and the remaining piece of tissue is kept in freezed conditions. Understood? So in a frozen condition, and that can be used for later experiments. If the first experiment fails, then they go for another experiment, but this time they collect sperm cells from the piece of the testis which is kept in frozen condition. Yeah, that is the advantage. Now, another technique assisted hatching. What does it mean? Sometimes, okay, everything is fine. She is producing ovum. Her husband sperm count is good. Fertilization occurred. Zygote is formed. Embryo is formed. But embryo is unable to implant to the wall of the uterus. Why? The wall of the uterus, especially the endometrium, is very, very thick. It's not allowing the embryo to get implanted. In such a case, we go for assisted hatching. A small hole is drilled either with a sharp instrument or with a laser beam. Okay, a small hole is made in the wall of the uterus, thick wall of the uterus, and the embryo is made to implant into the hole. So implantation we are doing artificially. This is what we call as assisted hatching. Next, this is the way how it is being done. Now, next one is gift or gift. What is gift? Zygote intra-fallopian transfer or gamete intra-fallopian transfer. It's very clear. You can form zygote outside the female body, that is in vitro, in laboratory, and that zygote can be transferred to fallopian tube. Okay, that is called zygote intra-fallopian transfer. If gametes are transferred, that means here fertilization occurs outside, but here simply we are collecting gametes, male and female gametes, and directly keeping them exactly near ampullary ischemic junction so that both of them will get fused to form a zygote. So gametes are being transported into fallopian tube. That's why it is called gamete intra-fallopian transfer. So these are the techniques used now and then based on the requirement, based on the condition of the patient, based on the factors that contribute for infertility. Already we have listed out. Right. Now, freezing. Sometimes you can freeze embryos. You can generate number of embryos in vitro. You can collect female ovum, male sperm, allow them to fertilize, allow them to form zygote, to form embryo 2 cell, 4 cell, 8 cell, 16 cell, so on. Then you prepare more number of embryos. Take one embryo and go for IVF method. Okay. Suppose if it is failed, you need not go for again collecting the ovum, collecting the sperm cell, in vitro fertilization, no problem. Already other embryos are there which you can store in a freezed manner. Okay. So excess of embryos can be frozen and can be used. In case of the previous experiment is failed, you can go for another embryo. You can have number of embryos like that for future purpose. This is a frozen embryo technology. Okay, this is also a wonderful method. Even then, the gametes also can be frozen, but gametes like a oocyte, a ovum, cannot be frozen for a long time. It will be damaged. But zygote can be, or embryo can be frozen for a long time. That's why more number of embryos are being prepared nowadays. Now, coming to, okay, we have performed all these techniques, whether GIFT or IVF, whatever it may be. How do we come to know that whether our experiment is successful or not? Definitely, we have to check. See, you have to go for blood test whether the woman is conceived, pregnancy is there or not, and also ultrasonography. After 18 days of embryo transfer from the laboratory, you have to go for ultrasonography test. Okay, through which you can see the image. I mean, what is happening inside the uterus? What is the position of the embryo? Is it growing or not? Whether organs are formed or not? Whether it's normal or not? Everything can be known by ultrasonography. So it will be done, and it will by these methods we can establish our experiment is successful. Okay. But my dear children, all these experiments have certain complications. The chance of failure, miscarriage, abortions. Abortions will be 15%. Even though you carry out all the process and you have implanted the embryo, there is a chance of abortion, 15%. And multiple gestation pregnancy. That means repeatedly she has to undergo these procedures. And sometimes there is a chance of ectopic pregnancy. What is ectopic pregnancy? The embryo gets implanted into the uterus and develops. But sometimes the embryo gets implanted any part other than the uterus. It can be implanted even in the fallopian tube. There it can grow, but the growth is insufficient. Embryo cannot survive, it will die. Moreover, it gives lot of complications if it grows outside the uterus. And sometimes it comes out of the fallopian tube and get implanted to any other muscles inside the abdomen and starts growing into a mass, not embryo. That also problem. Another problem we can expect in this type of experiments. Okay, so like that, of course, every technological advancement has certain limitations. Same time, there are certain benefits. It depends how we are going to make use of the technology and how we are going to get the success. It depends on many factors. You know, all these technologies depends on the efficiency of the doctor and the tools and techniques he is she is adopting. And moreover, it's a costly procedure. Costly. Then what is the solution? Why should we take this risk? Why should we invest a lot of money? Just for children. Why should we crave for our own child? Can't we go for other children? There are many destitutes. There are many orphans in our country. Lakhs of people are there, orphans, living in orphanages. Destitutes are there. Why don't we go for adopting those children and treat them as our own children? My dear children, please think of. Understood? Instead of spending huge amounts and facing risks, we can go for adopting orphans and destitutes. That would be the best solution in my view. Do you agree with me? Thank you.